Coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios, this is Prime News on SABC 3 and in your top stories at this hour.
Says, Dear Advocate Chauke, I operate from the premise that the mission of the NPA enjoins us to be guided by the Constitution.
First up, testimony at the Nkabinde inquiry has exposed deep divisions within the prosecutorial leadership. Businessman and attempted murder accused Vusimuzi Matlala, who's currently in custody, is expected to testify before Parliament's ad hoc committee looking into concerns around national security this week. And motorists are set to dig deeper into their pockets to fill up their cars this coming festive season. It's a Monday night and we are set to jumpstart your weekly news. A very good evening to you and welcome to Prime News on SABC 3. My name is Beki Mutumomolete and I'll be taking you through the day's biggest stories. Let's get into your leads. Testimony at the Nkabinde inquiry has exposed deep divisions within the prosecutorial leadership. National Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Shamila Batohi, read into the record email exchanges between Advocates Simpiwe Mlotshwa and Andrew Chauke, revealing a dispute over signing Major General Johan Booysen's indictment without supporting evidence. Booysen, who headed the controversial Cato Manor unit between 2008 and 2011, was arrested along with unit members on serious charges, including racketeering.
Says, Dear Advocate Chauke, I operate from the premise that the mission of the NPA enjoins us to be guided by the Constitution. The last time I cast a glance on the Constitution, I gleaned that its preamble encapsulates that all the rights enshrined in the Constitution have to be respected, protected, and promoted. This includes the right to human dignity, which is affirmed in Section 10 of the same Constitution. He then goes on to, he gets quite philosophical in his email, in paragraph 2 and 3. In paragraph 2, he states, perhaps I can read from paragraph 2. You leveled serious allegations against me. You did not repeat the same allegations from your behavior. You did not repeat the same allegations when we met the ANDPP in her office. I maintain my cool through and through. The impression I derive from your behavior is that you nourish a slavish mentality.
Businessman and attempted murder accused Vusimuzi Matlala, who's currently in custody, is expected to testify before Parliament's ad hoc committee looking into concerns around national security this week. The committee, which is investigating allegations of criminal infiltration, corruption and political interference in the justice system, will be in Gauteng from tomorrow until Friday. It will hold hearings at the Kgosi Mampuru Correctional Centre in Pretoria. Parliament says that this decision follows a resolution by the committee that is intended to ensure the safety and security of all parties involved in the investigations. The allegations being investigated by the committee were made by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi during a media briefing in July this year. In our next story, the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation says it will not be deterred from its investigations into possible fraud and corruption at the Tembisa hospital. This comes after one of their own and an official at the hospital were arrested on Sunday for allegedly attempting to bribe an investigator who is probing the matter. The duo appeared in the Pretoria Magistrates Court on charges of corruption, and their case was postponed to next week.
Zakaria Chisele, an official at the Tembisa Hospital, and Babitsiye, a member of the Hawks, appeared briefly in the Pretoria Magistrates Court. It is alleged that Chisele, with the help of Tsiye, attempted to bribe an investigator to avoid prosecution in the fraud and corruption investigations at the Tembisa Hospital. The state was not ready to proceed with their bail application, leaving the defense frustrated.
You must understand that the two officials were arrested yesterday and the state still needs to do their bail investigations so that we can determine whether we will oppose or not oppose their release on bail.
The duo allegedly handed the investigator 100,000 rand as gratification, not knowing that he was part of an operation to nab them. The Hawks maintain that this shows that they are serious about arresting those behind the looting at Tembisa Hospital.
Because we arrested one of our own, that is to show that we would not let anything deter this investigation into Tembisa. If it's our own, we'll also root him out. And if there's any other person who is trying to deter this investigation, we will also be dealing with him.
In September, the Special Investigating Unit released an interim report detailing how billions of rands were squandered by tender syndicates and health officials at Tembisa Hospital. The Hawks are confident that those responsible will be brought to justice. Neria Hlakotsa, SABC News, Tshwane.
The ANC says it hasn't given up on trying to convince the SACP to change its mind on contesting elections independently. The two parties are holding another bilateral meeting in an attempt to iron out their differences.
We're going to look at the state of the alliance. We're going to look at the position, the resolution of the South African Communist Party to contest elections independently. But more importantly is to look at how do we safeguard this revolutionary and historic alliance that was not established for convenience, but was established because of the need to ensure an end to colonialism and also to ensure that we pursue the struggle towards a national democratic society.
It's very important for the party that we have finally agreed to have this particular bilateral. Of course, there are a lot of issues that are going to be discussed, but first of all, for us is that we must discuss the state of the alliance, our common program, the National Transformation Project. What are we doing? What are the positive steps that we are making? What are the challenges and what are the weaknesses? The Communist Party, of course, has its own positions when it comes to that, and the same can be expected of the ANC.
After a short breather, Santa may bring very little cheer to South African motorists this festive season, with no relief at the fuel pump expected. Welcome back to Prime News on 3. Motorists are set to dig deeper into their pockets to fill up their cars this festive season. Preliminary data from the Central Energy Fund shows that the price of petrol will likely go up by between 19 and 24 cents per litre, depending on the grade. The price of a litre of diesel is expected to increase by between 75 and 92 cents. It is anticipated that the price of a litre of paraffin will go up by about 82 cents. The probable fuel price increase comes at a time when many will be embarking on long journeys to various destinations for the Christmas holidays. The Department of Mineral and Petroleum Resources is expected to announce the official fuel price adjustments for December at the end of this week. Next up, the families of 17 men who are currentently trapped in the war-torn Donbas region in the Ukraine have made a desperate appeal to the South African government for the safe return of their loved ones. The men were allegedly lured to Russia on the promise of private security training. They've been stuck in the country since July.
This is a video the SABC has obtained showing a group of South African men believed to be in Russia. The men are seen dressed in military uniform, bearing the Russian flag badge, and the man behind is heard saying they are off to fight Zelensky, in reference to the Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky. It's not clear, however, when the video was taken. 19 South African men, most of them from KwaZulu-Natal, have sent a distress call, pleading for the authorities to bring them home. Some of the group left in July, flying from Durban's King Shaka Airport to Dubai and then connected to Russia. One of the men, who spoke on condition of anonymity, says they were lured to Russia on the promise that they would receive training for VIP protection.
Will it take, because our situation is dire here? It must happen in the next 2 to 3 days. These people here are saying they are tired of us, and in the next 4 to 5 days, they are moving us to the front lines in the war.
Lungisi Mnube's younger brother is amongst the men trapped in Russia.
They didn't know they were going to war. They believed they were going for training and would come back to be part of MK security forces.
Mnube says if nothing is done urgently, he fears the men may never return home. Ayanda Mhlongo, SABC News, Durban.
On the back of the Purple campaign, cases of gender-based violence have surged in KwaZulu-Natal. The province's 7 districts have recorded a sharp increase in sexual assault against children below 12 years. eThekwini, uMgungundlovu and King Cetshwayo remain the hotspots for such cases.
The scourge of gender-based violence and femicide continues unabated. Statistics indicate that 3 women are killed by their intimate partner every day. Just over 33% of South African women aged 18 and older have encountered physical abuse in their lifetime. KwaZulu-Natal authorities say the province is recording a worrying increase in gender-based violence cases.
As part of our interventions, gender-based violence and femicide activists are now deployed at 184 police stations throughout KwaZulu-Natal, where they provide survivor support, conduct follow-ups, and lead school-based prevention programs.
We are particularly concerned as we approach this particular festive season of the kids and where they are going to be during the holiday periods. And much of our children end up on the streets unattended to by the parents and adults who are supposed to look after them.
Government says it will intensify its community engagement programs in an effort to heighten the level of awareness among women and children. The campaign has so far reached over 39,000 community members across the province. Simpiwe Makanya, SABC News, Durban.
When we return, Eskom wage talks are expected to resume tomorrow at the National Bargaining Forum. And on the sporting front, South Africa are on the verge of their first Test series win against India in 25 years. Thank you for staying with us. Eskom wage talks are expected to resume tomorrow at the National Bargaining Forum. The power utility is facing a 15% wage increase demand from unions, which represent the majority of its 42,000 workers spread across the entity's 3 divisions. It is expected that the company will present the offer to the unions.
The latest round of wage negotiations has been set down for 3 days this week, with Eskom expected to officially table its wage offer. The entity has 3 labor unions, NUMSA, the NUM and Solidarity, representing the lion's share of Eskom's about 42,000 workers. The NUM is the majority union at Eskom, representing about 15,000 employees at the state-owned entity, and has tabled a 15% wage increase demand.
Wages, they are a national question. Of course, we are very responsible. That's why trade unions and Eskom has agreed to start wages very early. We are starting now so that we make sure that there's no disruptions in terms of the business in Eskom.
South Africa has experienced almost 200 consecutive days without interrupted power supply, with only 26 hours of load shedding recorded in April and May this financial year.
It is our view that workers have earned whatever increases and demands that they've placed on the table. If you look at Eskom's overall performance, they have finally made a profit margin of over 16 billion.
Tabled its financial position to the unions. The day is focused on finalizing the schedule for engagements ahead of the formal commencement of negotiations from 25 to 27 November.
Katlego Rodi, SABC News in Johannesburg.
Springboks scrum guru Dan Human was not giving away any trade secrets after the box scrum completely dismantled Ireland over the weekend. Human embodies the humility that the Springboks strive for, regardless of their many achievements on the world stage. The assistant coach was speaking ahead of the Springboks' final match of the 2025 season against Wales at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff on Saturday evening.
The Springboks have one match left on their end-of-year tour and a chance to make it an unbeaten tour like last year. The Boks opponents, Wales, are still rebuilding, and so the visiting South Africans are the odds-on favourites. However, Bok assistant coach Don Himan wants to stay away from tags ahead of the match in order to show respect for the opposition.
If you're going into it and think too much about yourself, you must have respect for the other team as well where you're playing, and you must obviously do your best in preparation to face them on Saturday. But I don't think there's a thing as a tag. I don't think we must tag it to ourselves even.
The Springboks' attitude as a whole to notching up another achievement is telling. And don't expect any insight on the scrums just yet. While the Boks dominated Ireland, Human is not ready to start heralding the Boks scrum. Not when there is still one more opponent to face.
Yeah, what can I say? My father always tells me, don't tell me what you're going to do, tell me what you have done.
South Africa versus Wales will be the only international match played this weekend before the Boks call time on 2025. Simon Burke, SABC News.
It is now time for us to chart the skies, one raindrop at a time. Our weather team is on standby with the details. Your forecast is up next.
Good evening and welcome. Let's take a look at what to expect weather-wise for tonight as well as tomorrow. Clear skies over the western as well as the southwestern parts of the country. Otherwise, partly cloudy conditions through the central, northern, northeastern as well as the eastern parts of the country, where we do expect this evening isolated to scattered showers and thunder showers, mainly widespread over the northwestern parts of KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Free State, Mpumalanga and in places over Limpopo. Now tomorrow, seeing further clearance over the southern parts of the country. Partly cloudy conditions over the central, northern as well as the northeastern parts, where there is a forecast of isolated showers and thunder showers, mainly scattered over the northwestern parts of KwaZulu-Natal, northern and eastern parts of the Free State, Mpumalanga, Gauteng and in places over Limpopo. Now for this evening, South African Weather Service warning of severe thunderstorms, yellow level 2 and a yellow level 4 becoming an orange level 5 over Mpumalanga as well as in places over Limpopo. Tomorrow, that severe thunderstorm warning still over Limpopo, Gauteng, Mpumalanga and the eastern and northern parts of the Free State, becoming a yellow level 4 in places over Mpumalanga. Now those storms possibly resulting in heavy downpours of rain, strong damaging winds, large amounts of small hail or excessive lightning. High fire danger conditions in places over the extreme western part of the Western Cape. Taking a look at our overnight temperatures, 22 in Springbok, 13 is your overnight low in Bloemfontein as well as in Kimberley. Pretoria getting our start at 14, peaking at 21, a warm day in Musina with 28, Graaff-Reinet 30, extremely hot conditions in Vredendal with 41. It will be scorching in Worcester with a high of 38. That's your weather. Do stay tuned.
And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are back with you again tomorrow evening. Until then, from myself, Becky, and the team, stay ahead. Good night.